Um, I think we can all agree that over the last few days and the past few months, we see Web3 as getting adopted, getting some traction. This is not the case for the Web2 boomers. So Elon Musk still hasn't seen Web3, can't find it. But I actually think this is a good way of showing that disruption is coming. A good example from the Web2 era is when Jeff Bezos in 2006 announced they're moving into the cloud business. And Business Week called it a very risky bet back in 2006. This very risky bet turned out to be a $62 billion business back in 2021. So I believe that Web3 is also on a good track on becoming a disruptive environment and building the future of the internet. But before I go into it, how businesses are building on blockchain and how we see Web3 evolving, I'll just like to take you on a quick journey from where we started, Web 1, and where we are with Web 3. So you all know Web 1 was really a static website, probably know GeoCities, that was then bought by Yahoo. So those were static websites, tables, not much interaction, not much content building, users couldn't interact, you just searched for something and read the content. So this basically the users demanded more revolution, they wanted more participation in the web. So this is when we then got to Web 2, which evolved into internet, social media, blogging, vlogging, and so on. The issue with Web 2 was, and I think we can all repeat the biggest lie that was ever told on Web 2, we all agree and have read the terms and conditions. The problem with this is all the major corporations like Facebook, Amazon, Google, Netflix, and so on, who are building on Web 2, get a hold of our data. And basically, data is the currency of the Web 2 today. We want to use their services, we want to use their features, we want to interact with people, but the problem is we're not aware of what they're doing with our data. And this basically led to the evolution and the revolution, or let's say the innovation on Web 3. How this looks today at Web 2 is basically the protocol layer. When we're building on HTTP, SMTP, FTP, and so on, those are just dumb protocols, right? And all the value that is being captured has been built by applications and companies like Facebook and Google. And seeing the scandals around Cambridge Analytica and so on just showcases how powerful those companies became. And this led, again, to the next revolution, or let's say next part of the resistance from the user side, because the users wanted to have more control over their data and wanted to move away from trusting those large organizations. And we basically, with Web 3, are moving or shifting the technology, the intelligence, the trust layer into the protocol layer, in this case blockchain, and building applications on top of it. This gives the users more freedom, more control over their data, and kind of shrinkens the value that is being captured by the applications built on top of it. How I see Web 3, and here I would like to show you a quick video. I don't know if you're familiar with the series Silicon Valley on HBO. Richard Hendricks being the CEO of a startup company building data mining company, and they see Web 3 as the decentralized internet of the people.
Can I pace? I just think better on my feet. So, a lot of people when they begin this.
Mr. Hendricks, speak into the machine.
Okay. Sorry, does this come out? Perfect. Okay, so these people up here, right? You want to rein them in, but you can't. Facebook owns 80% of mobile social traffic. Google owns 92% of search. And Amazon Web Services is bigger than their next 4 competitors combined.
And they will be even more robust once the Huli merger is complete.
See? Look, there. Even Huli can't survive these monopolies. No one can. They track our every move. They monitor every moment in our lives, and they exploit our data for profit. And you can ask them all the questions you want, but they're not going to change. They don't have to. These companies are kings, and they rule over kingdoms far larger than any nation in human history. They won. We lost.
So why are you here?
Because look at where we are. Yeah? We are in the seat of the US government. I'm okay, I got it now. We are in the seat of the US government, a government that was founded by people who were at one point ruled by kings they couldn't overthrow. So what did they do, right? They started over. They came here to the new world, World 2.0, version 1776. And the way we win is by creating a new, democratic, decentralized internet. One where the behavior of companies like this will be impossible forever. One where it is the users, not the kings, who have sovereign control over their data. This, I promise to you, I will help you end this tyranny by building an internet that is of the people, by the people, and for the people, so help me God.
So how do we see at Authtrail the Web3 and the internet of the people, for the people, by the people? So what Richard Henricks was referring to is the Web2 with the large organizations building on top, built on data centers, built on managed service providers. And we see this user-managed or decentralized internet built on Polkadot. So Authtrail is building a platform that's going to make the adoption faster for enterprises, because right now there are so many languages on the Polkadot stack, like Rust, Solidity, Substrate, and so on. And we see Polkadot as the main protocol for developing on top of it. The infrastructure are the purpose-built parachains that serve their specific needs. So we have Kilt for digital identity. We heard the presentation yesterday from Dudley. We have Phala for computing. We have Astar for EVM, Moonbeam for EVM, Akala for DeFi. And those are all very nice purpose-built parachains. However, if you're an enterprise, you want to do a first step into the Web3, you have to learn all those languages. That's where we come into place as Authtrail. So we are the managed service provider in between, creating APIs that the companies can then leverage to develop on top of the Polkadot stack. Now the animation, okay, it works. So how it looks like, so Polkadot as the core protocol with the parachains on top that can be added on the way. You can then develop on top and create different use cases like integrity, compute, identity, and storage. So we started off with the smallest piece of integrity, data integrity as a service, where we would connect into legacy enterprise systems like SAP and Oracle. And we saw that there's much more potential to it. So we started working with different parachains at the back end and creating those use cases in the front. So this is our vision on how we see Web3 adoption being developed, being accelerated, and being the first next step to real Web3 adoption. I think I was way ahead of my time, but I think we still have time for some questions. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask them now. Our team is here. We have a booth outside, and my mail is up there, so happy to answer any questions. Too early in the morning, I guess. No worries. So as I mentioned, so our team is here. Feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to discuss any possible integrations with you guys. Thank you for your attendance.